Join us now for Patriot Focus, featuring academic and athletic events including students, faculty, and staff at Sullivan East High School. Our show is sponsored by Continental Alarm Systems of Bluff City. Now let's start Patriot Focus with our hosts, Sullivan East Principal Andy Hare and the voice of the Patriots, Mike Cox.
With all the chaos that is going on, Patriot Focus is still on. We have had a lot of schedule changes. Of course, you've heard the App State game. They played that earlier today. They're going to play tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I'll have more information on that later. Here on Patriot Focus is Principal Andy Hare with us. Hello, Andy.
Mike, how are you doing?
Oh, it's chaos.
As a meteorologist, I bet you've had a wonderful few days.
It's been a week because I walked in on Monday and within 10 minutes, what's it going to do this weekend? And I'm like, well, number one, I don't go out to 5 days to begin with. If I have enough time on the air, I'll go that far. But usually I'm like 2-3 days and that's it. And then second, I haven't heard anything. And literally every model run for the computers over the weekend said nothing was happening Saturday.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, kaboom, everybody woke up on Monday morning and a bunch of snow is possible. And it's been consistent. We've had some changes in it. It's been changing a lot since Monday. So it's been a week of answering that question over and over.
And I bet you get tired of it. I understand, though. I get it, too, because everybody asks me, we're going to be in school or not. And I don't have that call. But I do appreciate how you've done it, though. You've been cautious with it and not over-exaggerating things.
It's really weird because when we have a big severe weather, severe thunderstorms, tornadoes day, it's not going to affect everybody. It's just track of the storm. It's just a certain number of people. With this kind of thing, it's affecting everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
And a lot of it could affect everybody in a bad way.
It could, yeah.
So that's the pressure that's on to try to make sure this is right. And we've got everything we forecast with completely changing. Timing is changing. Temperatures and all that stuff.
So many factors to consider. I think what gets people excited is the thought of something like that because they've not seen it. Our kids haven't seen. We always had several larger snow events where 6, 8, up to 10 inches, and then you had your blizzards of 93 and 96, and I remember the one in 98 where it just crippled this area, and then it got real warm and rained a lot and caused massive, terrible, tragic flooding in Carter County. They've never seen anything like that, and then when they hear the possibilities of a snow event like that, I know it gets them excited. And,
it does.
And it makes people start looking at their calendar and looking, okay, well, we've got this on Saturday. On Friday, we've got this event coming up, and it makes you nervous. And what do you do? Do you cancel? Do you not cancel? And we always are going to err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
I would rather be safe than sorry, and that's usually what happens. We're going to make those decisions when it comes to upcoming events. So please make sure you follow our social media channels to keep up with any cancellation and rescheduling of events that are going to be happening during this weekend.
Not just at the school, but just around town in Bluff City. There's a lot of stuff planned for Saturday.
Yeah,
that I've seen just reading the signs going across. Past couple of days, I've been like, I don't know if y'all are going to have that or not. So it's going to be interesting all the way around to see how it plays out. I've got a buddy in Nashville that's using a computer model that's used for forecasting snow for ski slopes.
Yeah.
He's going to use it for Nashville. And I thought,
wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is.
He's going to use that to see if it does Nashville the way it should, based on the fact that all the computers we meteorologists use are all over the board.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. The field of meteorology is you're always learning. Everything that happens, you're always learning with recognition of weather patterns and all that stuff. It never is the same. I mean, a lot of things, you get a new thing every once in a while, but pretty much everything is solid, stays the same.
Well, I like how you've done it. You've handled it well. You've done a great job. And like you said, we've got this front moving through right now that we got to deal with first, and that's going to impact how it goes. But you've been providing that caution and wisdom, so I appreciate that. But it's an exciting time. It's kind of fun to anticipate what could happen, but it does wreak havoc on the schedule.
It does.
Yeah.
It definitely does. And as we get ready for the break, what do we have planned for the show today?
We have some awesome students that are going to be in here to talk about a lot of things. And their main goal today is to spread awareness about an opportunity people have to be organ and tissue donors. And this is part of a project they're doing that's part of their organization, Health Occupation Students of America. And they just want the word out there because you become an organ or tissue donor, you have a chance to save lives. And that's what our students are all about, making the world a better place. So we're looking forward to hearing from them. And we'll hear about all the things they do and what it's like to be a student in high school in 2026.
And we're going to do that coming up in just a moment. You're listening to Patriot Focus here on 790 The Fan. Back here on Patriot Focus, we have some interviews coming up for you. I do want to let you know about a schedule change. We do have App State basketball. We had them earlier today. They moved today's game from 6 o'clock to noon because of the snow that's coming and because they moved the Saturday game to noon tomorrow. So we'll have coverage of App State playing Louisiana Monroe as they play the game at noon tomorrow and try to get out of Boone before the snow arrives. We'll have coverage of that game starting tomorrow at 12 o'clock here on 790 The Fan. Principal Andy Hare is having conversations in the background, so we now give it to him so we can have conversations in the foreground. Here you go, Andy.
Mike, thank you. Well, I'm having conversation with some amazing students at Sullivan East High School. So, ladies, go ahead and introduce yourselves for the audience.
My name is Natasha Lyon, and I'm in 11th grade at Sullivan East.
My name's Blakely McCracken, and I'm a 10th grader at Sullivan East.
Hi, I'm Jada Moultrie, and I'm a 10th grader at Sullivan East.
All right, ladies, thanks for being on the show. And, well, what brings you on the show?
Well, Mr. Hare, what brings us to the show today, we're competing for HOSA, which is a group at our school. It's Health Occupation Students of America. And our state competition is in March and April. And we're raising community awareness about organ donation.
What causes you to be passionate about that cause?
It's a cause that we are really passionate about because it's just a thing that you can register to do for free at the DMV whenever you get your driver's license. And just one person being an organ donor can save 8 lives and help 75 others.
Really? That many?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anybody that's been a beneficiary of something like that?
We do know a couple people who have benefited from organ donation. One of our friends, actually, that goes to our school, she is a 10th grader. Her father needed a kidney, so his son actually gave him a kidney. And then another girl that my mom went to college with, one of her sons, when he was born, needed both a heart and double lung transplant at literally the age of 1. And so at the age of 4, he was able to receive that transplant.
That is fantastic. If I want to be an organ donor, what do I do?
Whenever you go to the DMV, they'll ask you if you would like to be a tissue and organ donor, and then you get a cute little heart on your driver's license.
Oh, all right. Well, what if I've already got my license? Is there a way to still make it known that I want that to happen?
You can also go to donatelifetennessee.org and register to be an organ donor there.
Well, that's awesome. My father-in-law was a great man, and he died tragically. And he was an organ donor. And there were 5 people whose lives were benefited because he was an organ and tissue donor. So I think this is a great cause, a worthy cause, and I appreciate you all pushing it.
Yeah, we definitely think it's a great cause, too. That's why we're pushing it in our community. We wanted to make an impact in our community, and so we chose this for our community awareness project because there's over 100,000 people that are needing organs in the United States and over 3,000 in Tennessee.
That's amazing. 3,000 in our own state are needing some type of organ donation, waiting on that in order to determine if they're going to be alive or not. And, you know, your efforts could save a life. How does that make you feel?
I think it's great because, you know, knowing you're an organ donor, it gives you a sense of purpose, knowing that once you're gone, you can still help people.
That is powerful, isn't it? Because we want to leave behind a great legacy for others, and we want to make the world a better place, and we do that by leading by example. And that's a great way to do it. What type of response have you had at school with this?
We actually yesterday hosted a thing at lunch where people could come get brochures to scan a QR code and sign up to be organ donors. And we had several people come up and be interested and learn about what it takes to do that and how they can help people and how it affects their community.
That's wonderful. Jada, tell me a little bit about the competition. When will that be happening for you guys?
The competition is in March, so we will be heading down to, I'm pretty sure it's Chattanooga, and we will be competing with schools all around Tennessee.
And this is Community Awareness Project.
Yes.
Whose idea was this?
It was kind of a collective effort. We went through a few ideas, and before, whenever we had Miss Hall's class, we had Tennessee Donor Service bring some donor recipients to talk to us, and we remembered how powerful it was to learn about how they were helped, and so we decided to partner with them on this project.
That's inspirational. Well, thank you all so much. You all are the best. And let me ask you, you're in Health Occupation Students of America. You take both Miss Hall and Miss Castle's classes. What's the future plans for you guys? Is it in the health field?
Miss Hall and Miss Castle's classes have encouraged me. I already knew I wanted to do something in the healthcare field, and their education has developed my knowledge of the healthcare field and what area I want to go into, and I would like to be a primary care physician. And I think it's a great opportunity we have at school to learn about not only further your education in the healthcare field, but know what careers are available and just get a grasp on what your future might look like.
Jada, what about you? Where does Jada Moultrie end up in the future here as a professional?
Well, I want to actually be an orthodontist, and though we don't have, dentistry programs at our school, some of these health science classes can also develop my knowledge later in life and help me in my path for orthodontics.
That's wonderful. I love that. And Blakely, how about you?
Just like Natasha, I knew that I wanted to work in the healthcare field, and so I joined the Ballard Health Academy, which allows me to graduate with my certified nursing assistant and licensed practicing nurse. So I can graduate and start working, and then I'm going to go back to college for my BSN, and I hope to be a nurse.
I love that, and I think that's what's so special about the Ballard Health Academy. It jumpstarts your life. It's what it does, to where it's going to shorten that distance to becoming the BSN or an FNP or some other career in nursing. There's so many needs out there in the nursing field, so thank you. I appreciate all of you all for what you're doing and for wanting to help like you are. What inspires you all to do that?
I think that it's the community that inspires us to do it, is seeing people actively working in our community and wanting to contribute to that as well. Not only just our school, but in a larger group of people. Like, our community works very well together. It's very encouraging.
It is, and we're very blessed to be where we're from, where we live, where we do, and you guys make it just as special as anything. Well, thank you all again for being on the show. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
I don't think so, but thank you for having us on this show.
Absolutely. Well, it's all about Patriots and being focused on what you all are doing. Thank you, guys.
We'll be back with more Patriot Focus after this here on 790 The Fan. Back here on Patriot Focus on 790 The Fan. Coming up tonight, the Nashville Predators. They're going to play the Ottawa Senators. We'll have coverage of that starting at 8 o'clock here on 790 The Fan. We have had students in here today, and we've got another one coming up, so Principal Andy Hare is going to talk to him.
Mike, we are so blessed and honored to have with us Nathan Sanchez. Join us in the booth today.
Hello.
Welcome, Nathan.
I'm excited.
I know you are.
This is my first time being on a radio podcast ever. This is great.
Well, you're wonderful for it. You represent us really well at school. So tell me about Nathan Sanchez. So what do you do?
I do a little bit of everything pretty much. I play guitar, I do wrestling, tennis, track. I'm involved in a bunch of clubs in school, FCA, Open Table. Also, if you're listening and you go to Sullivan East, come to Open Table every Friday. That'll be great. I'm in Beta Club National Honor Society. I'm doing Skills USA this year. Pretty much that, yeah.
So you are making the most of it, correct?
Absolutely.
Have you always been involved in everything? Have you always been that type of person where you're going to try everything, or did this come a little later in life?
I felt like this came in a little bit later in life. I was shy. I was self-conscious about pretty much everything, especially freshman and sophomore year. Junior year was kind of like my push. Getting myself out there was probably the best decision ever, because being involved in something, at least like a club or like a friend group or an activity at least, got me out there socially, networked, got me opportunities that I didn't realize that I had. And yeah, it's great.
It creates a little bit of a accountability group
Absolutely.
with friends and people, knowing you've got people you can rely on.
Yeah, I mean, I have a fantastic few friends that hold me accountable and like held me up to a standard where I feel like if I did something wrong, that they would call me out on it. Mm-hmm. And it's great.
What was the one thing that sparked, that lit inside of you? Because you said your freshman, sophomore year, you were a little self-conscious, but then your junior year was that push. So what was that ignition?
Pretty much it was just seeing my upperclassmen like talk about pretty much their experiences in being in clubs and the relationships that they created with those clubs. And also, I think it was track year. I got to meet incredible people. I wasn't the greatest at my sport, but I learned discipline and I learned a lot of, life skills that I could take with coming out of track season. And coming out of that in my junior year, I decided to join clubs and get myself out there.
Even more active.
Yeah.
Even more involved. What have you found out about yourself having done these things?
I question myself a lot about, whether I'm working hard enough or am I getting myself out there enough or am I doing enough? Well, this year I decided to do wrestling my senior year. A lot of people kind of told me not to. I felt like, why not now? Why not put myself out there and do wrestling and, do these new things while it's my only year doing it? It's my only chance. I mean, honestly, it was great.
Wrestling's not something you just pick up your last year of high school and say, yeah, I'm going to be a wrestler. But you did it, and you're doing it, I guess. Tell us a little more about that. Why did you decide that? And then what did you gain from it?
In one of my college classes, we're doing growth and fixed mindsets. The difference between a growth and a fixed mindset is that a growth mindset is that everything is capable of being changed. And a fixed mindset is pretty much everything is made and cannot be changed. And the reason I did wrestling was because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to do something that could take me out of my comfort zone. When I heard wrestling practices and the matches, I heard and I knew it was going to be tough.
Was it as tough as you thought?
It was harder. It was a whole lot tougher, a whole lot harder than I thought. To be honest, the first day I was there, first practice, I wanted to quit the next day. But I didn't want to be a wuss, and I didn't want to be that person. I was like, I was going to quit. I was going to, be there for a day and just be weak. So I decided to tough it out. And even though I'm not the best wrestler at all, I've been mentally tougher, physically, probably in the best shape of my life right now.
Well, tell me about that wrestling community. How have they helped you through this? We've talked about accountability partners and people you can rely on. How's that wrestling community at East High School helped you through this process?
If you are trying to get into a sport, wrestling, even though it's hard, it is a fantastic sport. Not only do you grow with, mentally and physically, you grow in relationship with, the people on the team. They hold you accountable and they hold you to a higher standard, because even though I was on that mat on my back gasping for air, they would tell me to get up because that made me mentally tougher. That I didn't have the option of having another year or two to build my stamina and to, have that time to have a break. They got me up and we started running, we started doing those drills, and they held me accountable into the person I am right now.
Was it difficult to have people that are tying you into a pretzel? And
Absolutely.
then after it's over with, shake your hand and, want to go hang out.
Oh my gosh. That's funny that you say that, because there's something called a spladle and you're pretty much in a pretzel. I've been in a spladle a few times by Bentley Key and Hayden Jones, you know? It is fantastic. The coaches, the people, yeah.
It helps you mentally, doesn't it, to know that I can overcome this. Listen, life's full of challenges. I mean, it just is. And it's real easy to quit. Just like you wanted to quit, but you said no, and you forged through it. You did it because of your faith. You did it because of your internal drive, and you did it because of the people you were around.
Yeah, sports and academically, I want to touch up on like that growth mindset. It helped me to realize that everything can change with enough time and effort that you put into it. Obviously, with wrestling, I'm not going to be, a state champion in my first year, but I wanted to have a goal, and that goal is to be mentally tougher, physically more fit, and to realize that I could take the challenges that I overcome in wrestling and change that into my future career, either in college or in the workforce or anything else.
Well, Nathan, that's awesome. And you know what? We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back after this.
Back here on Patriot Focus for segment number 4. Don't forget a few items that we need you to know. First of all, App State basketball happening tomorrow at 12 o'clock. They're going to play Louisiana Monroe. We'll have that for you here on 790 The Fan tomorrow. Now, the Predators, and it's a good thing, they are playing in Utah on Saturday. They are way west of all of the snowy mess. So we'll have that game, weather and power permitting, at 3:30 Saturday. And following that, Houston and Texas Tech, some college basketball at 6:30 on Saturday here on 790 The Fan. We have a continuation of our previous conversation. Here is Principal Andy Hare.
Nathan, we left off talking about the future. So what does the future look like for Nathan Sanchez?
I feel like a lot of students out there have a burden of trying to decide what they want to do for the rest of their life after high school. To be honest, I don't know what I truly want to do. I know that I'm going to be going to college to get a higher education. I want to be able to support my mom because she's one of the biggest supporters of my life. I expect myself to grow in the time I graduate high school and go into college.
So there's nothing wrong with not knowing, but you have options.
Absolutely.
And that's what's important. And we don't expect you all to say, well, immediately when I leave high school, I'm going to be. Do you think I wanted to be a principal when I was your age?
I don't know.
Heck no. I thought by this time in my life, I'd have been retired by 10 years from the Philadelphia Phillies of a Hall of Fame career, baseball. But you have options. And you can go to college, you can go to trade school, you can go to the military, you can do whatever. But you know some things through your experiences in high school of things you like or don't like.
Absolutely.
That will help you guide yourself down that path. Is there anything you're leaning toward right now?
I talked about college and lifelong learning. That class is kind of guiding me towards that. And my teacher was saying that with my, attitude and my personality characteristics, that would be good in business marketing. I'm going to be doing some experience learning later in the semester with an advertisement company.
Yeah. So that's one thing we're hoping as many students we have can get that job shadowing, that internship, that practicum with something in a professional field so they can actually see, oh, well, I think I would like doing this possibly in the future. So to keep those options open. Well, you've about made it to the end of the line as a high school student. I mean, it's going to go real fast the last few weeks. We're about 14 weeks away from walking across that stage. So go back to the 14-year-old or the freshman version of Nathan Sanchez. What would you tell him now?
I would tell him to not be scared of failing. Gosh, when I was a freshman, I was shaking in my shoes and I was about to pee myself because I was afraid of embarrassing myself. Nowadays, I feel like I embarrass myself a little too much. I feel like I should have told my 14-year-old self that don't be afraid of embarrassing yourself, to make fun of yourself every once in a while. Don't be so serious, to take that leap of faith and to join those clubs and to join those friend groups and to get yourself out there.
And challenge yourself.
Absolutely.
Our forefathers have overcome a lot of things, and they didn't overcome it for nothing. They overcome it to put us in the situations that we're in right now. So inside of us is greatness, and don't ever forget that.
Yeah, comfortable times do not create hard men. Hard times create hard men. I liked how you said that, put yourself into uncomfortable situations. I felt like I didn't do that enough until junior
It's scary.
senior year. Absolutely.
And sometimes it's okay to wait a little while. That way you're sure and you're right. I think that's cool. What's been the best part of high school so far?
The connections and the opportunities that I've had. Over at Sullivan East, I had the opportunity to meet so many teachers and to create so many connections with them, and not just on a student level basis, but a little bit more than that, to know that if I need to talk to somebody or have a conversation about life, I could go to either one of my teachers.
Yeah, and that's so important. And there's a lot of issues in this world today, and one of the things that they say that we need to provide as educators is you all need to have that one caring, trusted adult that you can go to for that situation. And I'm glad that you've found that in those times that are difficult. As we go through school too, and we learn to become who we are. Sometimes we have to change the playground we're playing in and make new friends.
Yeah.
Is that something that's difficult to do for a teenager? Most of us act like we remember, but let me just tell you, brother, being a teenager's hard, and we forget because we want to block it out. You're living it right now. Is it as hard as we think it was, or Is it better than we remember?
It's not easy. I could say that. Do I have the responsibilities as an adult? Absolutely not. But changing and evolving into a young adult is hard because I have to, sometimes put away and, grow out of the habits and sometimes the people that I was surrounding myself with. Do I hate those people? Absolutely not. Were they doing horrible things to me? Absolutely not. But sometimes my habits and my goals do not align with the people that I'm surrounding myself with, even though they are not horrible people. Sometimes they are great people.
Sure.
But I have to grow out of those habits and figure myself out and not please the people around me.
That's right. It's about you. And it's that stage of life you're in, and that's that journey you're on. I became a parent, and me and my wife had our son. We were in our group, we were probably the first ones to have a child, and I get that because we then changed our focus in life where our friends were still wanting to go out and go out to dinner together, go places together. I'm like, well, we can't. I got this baby now. And, you go on a different path in life. And it's great that at your age you recognize that. But it's also so important that you remember that too. Because it's not that anybody's bad. It's like I say this often. I love Mountain Dew and I love chocolate milk. I don't pour them into each other's glass and drink it.
That's disgusting.
Exactly. So it's a bad mix sometimes. Sometimes we have to keep things separate like that when it is a relationship because together it can kind of become toxic sometimes. But no, I'm really proud of you for what you said in your journey you're on and the example you're setting for the classmates. We talk about the Patriot Way, and one of the T's in the Patriot Way is tradition, and we want to leave things better than how we found it. We want to build on the work that others have done before us. And Nathan, you've done just that. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. It was a great pleasure.
Thanks to all the guests that have been on the show on Patriot Focus this evening here on 790 The Fan. Coming up, we have, for the first time in a while, unless you're streaming us, the Braves Clubhouse Report is coming up next. And don't forget, later on tonight, we're going to have hockey for you as the Predators are going to be playing the Ottawa Senators. That comes up at 8 o'clock tonight here on 790 The Fan.
Thanks for listening to Patriot Focus on 790 The Fan. Each Thursday at 6 p.m., we bring you all the academic happenings at Sullivan East High School, focusing on upcoming events on and off campus, also including the Patriot sports teams and events. Today's broadcast has been sponsored by Continental Alarm Systems of Bluff City. We now return to regular programming on 790 The Fan, WETB, Johnson City.